Loudmouth over here joins us.
Oh. It's very hard for me to be quiet.
I'm sure it is. Well, it's almost like it's like April Unleashed.
Oh, you have no idea.
You can only talk, weather and cold and storm, cold fronts and storm fronts and all that kind of stuff.
I'll never ever really be able to be April Unleashed.
I know. That'd be great. That's another great segment. We can do ask the racist a question. We can do April Unleashed. So much potential.
If I ever lose my job,
that's right.
We could possibly do that.
Or that might be the reason you lose your job.
We think we've spent enough time with it now. We think we figured it out.
The road rage?
The road rage. The passive aggressive
Who
progressive.
Who is we, though? You and producer Tony?
The crew, the group
Patrick
here, the group in the room. I think you're on board, right, Patrick? You think I'm right? So here's the thing. So we were stuck between the reason why.
Right.
Was it something involving my driving that made them mad? Like, did I cut them off and I wasn't aware? Or was it something political sticker on the car or they know who I am? We think we've honed in on it had to have been something with the stickers on the car or me, because when the person pulled up to me at the intersection, if I had done something vehicular, that would have been the moment, because it would have been justifiable for them to get in my face and to give me the big bird.
Right.
That makes the most sense. If it was something more superficial, just, hate-filled, I don't like you got a Mark Napier and a Jonathan Payton sticker. Oh, and you're John Justice. That warrants a more passive-aggressive, driving, weird protest bird down the road away from you, because it's not as rational. Rational anger would have been, I did something to them. Irrational would have been, they just don't like me, so they're going the cowardly route.
I think Irrational left the building a long time ago.
But that makes the most sense,
Is this
though,
what
right?
you've been spending the morning on?
It's just for the TV audience.
It does make sense, again, because of the fact that they weren't already looking at you ready to,
Right. They would have pounced
angry.
right then. They would have been like, you just cut me off, you blah, 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 blah.
I pointed that out a while back, but yes, I agreed. And
did you point that out earlier?
I did.
Did I say? Well, maybe my
you already
subconscious
mentioned that you pulled up and they were looking down at their phone and not at you when they first saw you. It also could be that they waited right before the light turned green. They happened to look over and they're like, "Is that John? Oh, I don't like that guy." And then it started then. Could have been that. But it's kind of dark. So
that intersection is really lit. I mean, I could see their car and them doing that in the car.
Right.
Now, again, not bright enough for me to fully determine gender, but...
Yeah. Whatever. I think...
8:35. Welcome back to the John Justice Show. April Madison, KGUN 9 on your side, joins us in the studio with an extended look at your forecast. I was just explaining to April that we've... Now, I know you mentioned this in regards to my early morning passive-aggressive road rage incident, but you hadn't gotten, we kind of deduced it further, that if the person, when they pulled up to me,
had already been angry
because of something that was vehicular in nature, meaning I had tailgated them or I had cut them off, then that moment at the intersection would have been the moment where they would have immediately expressed their rage, because it would have been a rational in terms of that time of morning and what happened response to somebody who's going to do that.
Right.
Pulled up next to me, hey, here's Big Bird, blah, 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 blah,
here's
blah.
a bunch of words. That's what I think of you.
The fact that we stopped, they chose to pull out in front and then get in front and do this, I'm going to occupy your lane and then I'm going to give you the Big Bird later on, lends me to believe that it was not vehicular, because if that was the case, then they had more of a reason to do it back at the intersection.
Like it was something once they rolled up.
Right.
And looked over at your car or
there had to have been
whatever.
a moment. So either they saw the back of the car, they saw that, or I looked at them, I looked away, then they looked at me, and they went, oh my gosh. And I sparked.
That's a John guy.
It's right.
Like
there was an immediate
I hate that guy.
Spark of outrage. I mean, there was a lot of swerving going on with that other automobile.
Here's the thing. You're going to see a lot more of that just because you have allowed it so much airtime. People are getting in their heads right now, if I just road rage John to death in the morning, he's going to talk about me for
I don't think that's the case.
Hour.
I don't think I'm...
People are following you home.
It's going to be a fun drive home. It's a long drive back to Oro Valley.
No more airtime for this fool. That's all I got to say.
It's very weird. It's very strange.
It is strange. I get frustrated. I mean,
I'm not frustrated. It's a curiosity factor.
Well, that's
it's
what
so
I'm saying.
bizarre.
The not knowing is the frustrating
Who
part.
does that? Who does that?
Whoever was in the beat-up truck with the pool supplies this morning.
That's right.
That has happened to me before,
Chlorine's
too. Where
gone
I'm like,
straight to their heads.
Did I do something? What has made this person so angry at me?
Right there.
I think that has probably happened to a lot of people. And usually I think it's vehicular, but for someone like you...
That's what I thought.
Or myself, it could be that they just didn't like me.
Well, that's the thing, too, is that I was really feeling bad about it. Because I was like, oh, man, if I did something, if I cut them off and didn't realize it, I feel kind of like a jerk. I feel kind of bad. Now I don't anymore because now I've realized.
Because you know what? You don't know, and you're right. You likely didn't do anything. But you can't feel bad about if you didn't mean to, if you didn't know that you were doing that.
Right.
And they obviously weren't going to tell you in a nice way that, hey, by the way, you cut me off.
Yeah.
And I've also learned that the best response when someone does tell you that you're number one is to wave
that's what I usually do.
frantically and smile like you know them, and then they kind of feel like, oh crap, this person, I think I might know them, and I just told them they were number one.
Well, it's like we do on the show. It's like if you are a self-proclaimed racist, or you think it takes a village, or you don't like me for whatever reason, you get pushed to the head of the line when you call in. We take your calls first, and we serve those in opposition first. That's how we roll here.
You're such a nice guy.
I know.
Did you just say I know?
Yeah,
Your scoreboard just went,
I'm aware. It's my little Han Solo moment. I know.
I'm going to do weather over here.
Do that.
Okay, thanks. We've got a pretty cool forecast for you. Cool, meaning both words. If you love the cooler weather and the cool 80s, you're going to love this forecast. We are seeing some of the coolest highs that we have seen since mid-April. This morning's low was 49. It's been a long time since we've gotten that cold. We'll see that again for the next couple of nights. Low 50s to upper 40s. 82 for the high today. Probably the coolest day of the week with the high as well. Lots of sunshine, getting back to the mid-80s by Friday and into the weekend. A little bit breezy in the afternoons, especially over the weekend, but otherwise still holding on to those 80s and no rain in sight for the rest of October.
How'd it work?
It's going to have to because I can't change it.
Did you, if KGUN wants to talk to me about it and do a story?
About the road rage?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is an idea.
Yeah, when you do your planning meeting, tell Forrest. John's got this great thing that happened this morning. And
I will add it
for some,
to the list of
all the
ideas that you
give. It'd be a great sweep story, I think.
We are thinking sweeps. We are getting close to sweeps. I will add it to my long list of John Justice ideas.
I like the passive-aggressive road rage. That's what I find interesting about this whole thing.